Hey guys, this is OddOneGaming. This is going to be another Raid Shadow Legends video. We are back today and I want to show you something really cool that I have built a little bit on my account. That it's actually one of the more complex teams that I've seen, or maybe, I don't know, I might just be not smart enough yet to try and properly understand or properly wrap my head around it yet, because, well, I did not have I don't have too much time to test it out. I have been playing around for like 2-3 hours already. But that's going to be the Hydra team that can do 1 billion damage on Nightmare using Wixwell, Yannica, Emek, and Nia basically as a core, and then these two can be replaced. But they, you know, if you have this exact team, this is what you kind of should build. So the way that I'm going to put the spin on this video is how you can easily just get 1 billion, okay? Just trying to get that goal as an initial thing, and then after that, maybe, you know, I'm gonna try and look around more with it to see if I can try and perfectly tune it and understand it correctly, because, well, first of all, I want to give a shout out to Tyraku, because I watched his video for, in order for me to do this, and he did have some good ideas, some good comments in here, and some, you know, he's usually a really smart guy. I like to watch some of his videos sometimes. But one of the things, there's quite a few things actually that I do not understand with this, and, you know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, is the fact, and he doesn't speak about it either, so maybe if you guys know, let me know in the comments down below. I do not understand how you make the Head of Mischief swap targets, okay? Because the whole concept of this team is you basically are running this team where you're constantly using the taunt, okay, to make the heads not devour you. But then you have 3 people that are going to be like with high resist, which are going to be Emek, then Wixwell, and then Krisk. They're gonna have over you know, 500 resist, or around the 500 resist mark. So when Mischief attacks tries to steal your buffs, they're pretty much gonna resist it. However, the way that this team works, they pretty much have 10 buffs all the time. So the whole idea is what you're doing is you keep increasing the shields, okay? With this one, increase the shield value with Vault Keeper Wixwell's A2. You just keep increasing it as much as possible, and once you get to like around turn 100 or more, where you find the right cap, obviously you're gonna have to test it out for yourself. You might be able to explode the shields at turn 80, or you might have to wait till turn 150. What do I mean by explode the shields? Well, basically then you're gonna do with Yannica, you're gonna use her A3, which basically she removes all those shields and then she explodes them for damage. But what shields, you know, you might be asking? Well, basically you keep growing those shields, then at a certain point you try to make the Head of Mischief target somebody else by using his A3, the intercept, okay, on somebody else to get them to that 10 buff, which is the maximum buffs that you can have. And then you hope the Mischief is gonna steal buffs from that person, and then if that happens, after he steals and spreads, there's basically everybody's gonna have a ton of shields, and that's where Yannica comes in, and she's gonna explode it with this A3 and do some massive numbers. But again, the thing that I can wrap my hand around is when you only have 3 people that have 10 buffs at all time, how do you make the Head of Mischief change? It just seems too RNG for me, and like, I don't know, I haven't figured it out yet, because from when I looked at Tyraku's videos, it was like 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. There's like 10 buffs over there, like, yeah, what's his name, Wixwell, same thing, Emek, same thing. So they already have 10 buffs, so I don't get the RNG of what makes the Head of Mischief say like, okay, Yannica looks like a juicier snack, let me just try and eat Yannica. So that's, again, I'm not understanding that. However, like, just like me, if you're just trying to get that 1 billion damage, basically exploding those ones, you can easily do it, and I'm just gonna show you how it works. So first of all, let me show you the presets. I'm not gonna go and spend 20 minutes with this one. I'm gonna add the link to Tyraku's video in the description, pinned comment, if you want to go check that one out. He has another one in the past that he did. There's a replacement in here, like you don't need Tatura. He uses Tatura for the decreased accuracy on the A1. I didn't really do that, but I like Tatura because he brings increased defense, so that's a little bit more survivability as opposed to a Duchess. If you don't have a Tatura build, obviously bring a Duchess in, that's gonna help you as well. But keep in mind your Duchess might be like mine, which has too much resist, and that might be hard when you're trying to have her buffs be stolen, so definitely be aware of that. But yeah, it's kind of the core is definitely Wixwell, Yannica, Emek, and Nia. They're kind of like the core that you pretty much need, and the way the interaction works. The reason why Nia is good in here, because she's gonna constantly keep resetting Emek, plus Emek's A2 that will also reset. Keep in mind, I tried it with Ruark and some other ones, doesn't work, okay? It might be some different variation, yes, with some other teams, but this team specifically, if you just try to drop Emek and bring a Ruark as your counter, might not work. However, Pack Master might actually work, but again it might not, because you need this cooldown decrease. Okay, this is the issue over here, that the cooldown decrease that Emic brings makes Nia basically every second turn she's gonna keep doing this one to reset Emic, and he's always gonna have that taunt up. But I'm gonna show you basically the way that the run would work. So first of all, let me show you the presets. Like I said, the way that you have them, you have Emic first priority the A3, then killable and taunt, second priority the A2, Krisk first priority the A2, second priority the A3, Wixwell, you do not use his A3, just straight up lock that one out, make him prioritize the A2, Yannica, locker A2, locker A3, don't need those, you just want her to be A1ing, then Tatura, you just, let me turn this off as well. You basically want Tatura only to do A1s. You're gonna start with using the A2, then you're gonna manual to use the A3, and then you can keep him A1ing. Or you know what, actually, because this one's an AoE, you could just even leave this one in there, and whenever it's ready, he's just gonna use it. But this A2, the reason why you don't want to do it several times, or you don't have to, is because after you place them, you have the buff extension from Krisk and from Wixwell that you're always going to have those buffs up, so you don't need to replace them. So again, I think I'm actually going to leave the A3 on, because why not? It's an AoE hit, it's going to bring us a little bit of damage. Not like it's going to count, I'm not going to lie, it's not going to count for much, because, well, the one shot from Yannica does 1 billion. What's another 20 million in the grand scheme of things? Then Nia, you lock out the A3 again, you don't want her to use that, she just wants to keep using the A2. However, you're going to do the early setup so that it works properly like this. Okay, so let me show you. This is something that exactly kind of like Taraku did. I'm just, you know, showing you exactly the same thing. So you will start with the A2 from Krisk, then Wixwell does the A2, or at least with the extensions. Emic does his unkillable. Then first time, just so you have the chance of extending your stuff properly and make sure all those buffs stay up, you do the first A2 on Wixwell, so that Wixwell can keep extending that one. Then Tatura's gonna do the A2. Yannica's just gonna do the A1. The cleanse is gonna happen. It is what it is. It's a weird one. It's a weird one. Cleanse is gonna happen. Stuff is gonna fall, but you're gonna be able to survive. Then Krisk is gonna do his A3. Then Wixwell does another A2. And then there's one more thing we have to do, and then it pretty much goes full auto. Then Emic does the A2. A3 with, what's her name, Nia. So you put the ally protection as well on Krisk. You really want that ally protection also on Krisk, because otherwise he's gonna take too much damage and he's gonna lose his shield early and might die, okay? Then A3 with Tatura, and then you pretty much leave it full auto. You pray for not bad RNG, you pray so that you don't get bad RNG in the early turns, so you can keep growing those shields, keep growing that stuff, and then once you get, like I said, to around turn 100, you're gonna basically do what I'm gonna show you. I'm not gonna let the run go, because I already pre-recorded one, and I'm gonna show you exactly what I did. So for this one, yes, let's regroup, and let me show you this. So I basically just had the run keep going, same thing, you know, they just keep... You see the shields keep growing and growing and growing and growing. You basically don't want to kill the head of decay, okay, the head of mischief, okay? So the way that the Taraku maybe's done it is he's not killing it because I guess he built everybody more for survivability, but my Tatura has damage and whatnot, so I just did not build it I just did not use the A1 on him. I let them hit anybody else. But basically, as the fight goes on, I get to about, I think, turn... yeah, I tried to do it at like turn 90 with the builds I'm going to show you, and I just did not do enough damage. But then I think I left it to about turn 100, let me see. I think this was over here. I already started, let me see. So you see that I have the intercept already, and it's like, Mischief didn't attack Yannica yet. So this is the thing. I placed the intercept at, what's this, turn... at around turn 100. I think it was over here. You're gonna see exactly what I mean, okay? So at this turn, I basically, okay, did another A2. Then once I got back to Wixwell, I placed the intercept on Yannica to try and make Light of Mischief steal from Yannica the buffs first, because the way that I tried to do it is have Yannica get her stuff stolen first, then she explodes, then I would have the same, then I would go again after, you know, they die and respawn, hopefully getting Mischief. I would place that on Tatura and hope that it comes... You know, hopefully it steals from Tatura and then explode again, and that's some quick, easy damage. But this is the thing. You're gonna see, okay, I place the intercept and watch. Mischief starts hitting Emic. Then if you go a little bit further, Mischief gets a turn. I think he's gonna hit Chris this time. And then it goes Wixwell. So I don't get how do you actually control it. You know, there's nothing. It's not I might not see it. I might not be smart enough. I don't get it. How they actually make the head of mischief hit Yannica or whoever you want to steal. See, okay, one goes to Emic again. Then this time, let's see who did it steal from. This time I think it just basically just keeps stealing from random. It goes on random people, and it makes it a bit complicated. However, eventually at turn, I think it's this turn around at 125. No, not even again. See again, it the head of the head of mischief just hit somebody else. But after you get to the right point, you're basically gonna have this. Okay, so finally, even though everybody still had the same amount of buffs, finally stole from Yannica. Okay, stole Yannica's buffs. Basically, the important thing is that you're going to want to have these two buffs together, okay? The shield set buff, which gets grown by Wixwell, and the normal buff. Because otherwise, you know, it's going to be a little bit more, a little bit less damage. You might have to go longer turn. But basically, you're going to see that this happens. The spread happens, okay? So as soon as the head of mischief gets a turn, he will do the spread. And then Yannica's just going to go in there, do that A3, kill all of them, and then you move on with your day. The lucky thing here was, because the unkillable was protected by Emic, he did not steal the unkillable, and that was just like job done, easy clap. Watch this. Let's click it, watch the number. So basically the cap that we saw that is at shields, it's 322 million. This cannot go higher than 322 million. So if you see that you get to this number earlier, like I said, just, you know, okay, stop earlier, do that, and try to re-get into rotation. Normally after this happens, you're gonna try and put all the buffs back together to try and regrow the shields, regrow all the buffs, and basically keep going over and over again. But again, like I said, I've managed to do it like 2 or 3 times, like do those max. I got to like 2.5 billion damage. But you know what? 1.2 billion is just good enough from my point of view. 1.3 over here is just good enough from my point of view, considering it's Nightmare Hydra. So yeah, that's kind of build. Now let me show you what gear I have on them. So I have Emic in 9 pieces protection. I actually try to keep him the same speed that I use him in my Iron Twins, but you know, you can go faster. The key thing is your Emic should be faster than Nia, okay? And don't get stuff when it comes to masteries that can influence their their turn meter. So for example, don't get on Nia stuff like Arcane Celerity. You don't want her jumping ahead of Emic. You want her to always go at the right time, because that's the way they're gonna always fall into rotation to those buffs. Okay, so Emic 9-piece protection. That's the speed, and obviously the resistance. You need around 500 and a bit resistance to land the debuffs. Masteries honestly doesn't really matter. Whatever helps you to hit the stats that I'm showing. Then Wixwell, he's in a reflex set plus a couple refresh. Basically, if you can get him with the reflex and Merciless, that's going to be the better one, because you want him to do the A2 as often as possible. That's all he is in there for. To do the A2, to keep extending the duration of buffs, the shields, and land a decreased attack when he can. I don't even have full masteries on him. His speed is like 284. I guess like 260, 270 or higher is just about fine, but obviously the higher you can get it, the better, because the more he goes, the more he extends those shields. Then Tatura's in a shield set. Like I said, it's really important to have somebody in a shield set, because this one will also be grown by Wixwell's A2, so you definitely want this. He's fully booked, but you don't really care, honestly. If you have an unbooked one and you don't have a Duchess, you just need to use the A2 first, the A3 afterwards, and that's it. Okay, you don't really care about this. He's just in there to bring you the buffs that you need, especially Perfect Veil, because when the Head of Torment is out, it becomes a little bit more complicated. Masteries, I do have masteries on him, but again, doesn't really matter. You don't really need those. No masteries on Yannica. She's just in a provoke set, so I can try and keep that of Decay provoked as much as possible, so he doesn't keep cleansing out there. The only thing that you need is, like, you know, around 200, 220 speed, and then you do need accuracy, because you know what, this one actually, removing buffs requires accuracy, so it might work without it. Like, I've seen tarot card a lot lower, but I think just to be safe, just put accuracy on her, because you don't care about her damage. The tiny bit of damage they do from the hits and War Masters doesn't really matter. It's all about that shield being exploded. Then Krisk is in random sets, and then if you can, basically, if you can give him some curse, that could help if you want to focus that of mischief with the accuracy, but I just didn't want to do that. I let him in random stuff. It works just fine. Don't really care about it. This is the right Krisk. I think it is. No, it's the wrong one. I think I just took some revenge pieces. If you can have some revenge pieces, or if you can have some retaliation sets, that's gonna help you out, because you want him to keep landing the decreased speed as well with the A1, So having retaliation is gonna help, you know, counterattacks as much as possible. Then when it comes to the stats on him, you want again around 500 accuracy. I have a 532 with area bonuses and close to 400 accuracy. So 530 resist, 400 accuracy to land his buffs and debuffs. Do have masteries on him. He is fully booked. You definitely want Wixwell, Emek, Nia, and Chris to be booked. Okay, if you don't use Chris, can use somebody like what's her name? Somebody like Demetha is another buff extender. That can work. You just have to do one quick thing. You would have to open with Vault Keepers A2 so you have that extra shield on the team, because Krisk brings you the shield as the battle starts from the passive, so do keep that in mind. Krisk is now mandatory, but he helps because he makes it a lot easier with the provoke and with AoE decrease speed. Then the last one's Nia, and here again, no masteries on Nia. You do want to have her fully booked. She's again in a provoke set and a retaliation, because again, AoE A1 that does decrease speed that can help you. And yeah, that's pretty much the team. This can get you easy 1 billion damage. And you know what? Up until they fix it, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm not gonna try and go crazy min-maxi to try and see 2, 3, 4, 5, 10, 10 billion damage, unless we see that the change comes, because for those who do not know, they did say they're gonna bring some adaptations, some changes to the Hydra in general, to their mechanics. So they might, you know, break this team, they might break the Tronda teams, which it's kind of normal because this is cheesing it at the end of the day. You know, I don't prefer this. I just prefer full-on proper teams like this, smashing, you know, getting as much damage as you can with actual proper teams. But if they're gonna change it, then I'm not gonna do this anymore. If they don't, I'm gonna try and come back with a more detailed guide for you guys to try and push this to the maximum, because I've seen some damages like, for example, like a clanmate, let me show you, did, I think it was 4 billion. Yep, there we go. So shout out to Jimson. He did 4.2 billion with pretty much the same team, just having Duchess in there, you know, a couple +2s, but doesn't really matter. Just had Duchess in the team instead of what's his name, Satura, and still 32 minutes, Nightmare 4 billion. Easy, you know, easy days. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it at this for today, guys. Thank you all for watching. As always, if you do enjoy my content, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel to see when I upload next, and I'm gonna see you on the next one. Peace, love, take care, everyone. Bye, guys.